Hi, it is the free chatting time again. So after I share the video on the truth of Wing Chun matrix, I have received a few messages from our Wing Chun friends. And some of these friends is asking me, Dean, what I share in that video is just my personal view or my lineage view. And also there are some friends telling me that the truth is from the Mui, all this Buddhist monk Shaolin, so all kinds of stories. So even though in my past video I already said specifically this is by evidence, okay, there's nothing to do with my view or my lineage view, still many of us do not understand. The reason why it have all these questions in my view is that most of us today do not understand about Chinese culture and do not understand about Buddhism. Even many people say in the West have read about the Zen Buddhisms, or even the Chinese in mainland China or Asia or Taiwan, they talk about Buddhism and so forth. But is that true that one really understands what is Buddhism is about? Okay, and is it true that one understands what is about Chinese culture? Or instead, one took something which one learned from some legends or movies. Okay, movies is a big influence and big distortion thing. Okay, and you took that as real. Once you go that path, it is a complete confusion. So today I'd like to share with you more in details, and let's straighten out what is going on here. In Buddhism, in Chinese culture, in martial arts, okay, and this short strike stuff, okay. Now, let's begin. So the first thing, very important, what I am presenting is about technology, okay, a technology based on short strike. It got nothing to do with anybody's lineage. It got nothing to do with relationship. And it got nothing to do with who invents something. Okay, we need to look at things objectively by data, by evidence, not just you like it, I like it, your interpretation, my interpretations. So let's begin. Okay. So the first thing what we need to know really clearly is short strike. Short strike is a technology. It's like your smartphone technology, the Google phone technology, or the Apple phone technology. Okay. And this technology exists prior to 1560. Short strike exists prior to 1560s. Okay, and at the 1560 we have clear records. Say for example, just quote a few that from General Qi Ji Guang and General Tang Sunzi. So why do I quote this article? Because this is well known, well studied. This is the proven facts or proven truth in the Chinese history of traditional Chinese martial arts. Okay, and then short strike evolved after 1560. Okay, evolved due to it is evolved according to the four momentum zone or four fighting zone of fighting, which is namely the long range, the very close body, the takedown, and then the ground fighting, okay, which I show in the past videos, okay, or in the Wing Chun Matrix books. Now, when it get to 1784, around that area, Shaolin has a document. Shaolin Temple, yes, the real Shaolin Temple have a document which is related to we have a short strike document or writing which is related to the Shaolin Temple, the real Shaolin Temple. And this document also has been studied and researched in, and it is true, real deal stuff, okay? So this is the Shaolin, okay? Now, from the 1560s to the 1784, of course there's some evolutions, okay? It evolved to different offspring and so forth due to the according, the art has to accord to the four fighting zone now. Prior to 1560s, people who study short strike, they just study short strike. People who study wrestling, they just study wrestling. So after 1560, it's kind of become kind of mixed martial art. However, it's still core in the original art of what it is. Say for example, the guy who practiced long fist, they now evolve into kinds of a mixed martial art, like using today's language, but they still expert in their long fist. The guy who do short strike, doing the same thing, is become a mixed martial art, but it is still based on their core martial art, because their body has to be conditioned that way. The guy who do the short strike, where they have to fight this close, and the guy who fight this far away, they need to have different momentum, different techniques, and different body condition, okay? So that is when you get to 1780. Now, this short strike keeping evolve, okay, it's not stop. And one of the short strike evolutions or offspring is landed in the Red Book, 1850, which we know. This is the Wing Chun, which was taught in Red Book in Phật San's King Fa Hui Kun, okay? And of course, there's some other short strike evolutions too, to other place, okay? Like the six penetration short strike. There's book for that, and even in 1930s it exists, okay? Now, so this thing keep evolve, okay? This thing keep evolve until today, okay? Today is 2018, okay? It's keeping evolve. Now, one thing we know for today's data is that the core of short strike, the core of the short strike, the characteristic, the uniqueness of short strike is still known clearly. If you take the common denominator of all this thing, you can see the core of the short strike, what is short strike is about, okay? And with that, we know for sure there are many things can be talked about or can be present on the short strike characteristics, okay? Now, so that is technical, based on a lot of data, and based on common denominator, you take on all this data. If it's a short strike, you know, oh, they have all this, like this so-called DNA, okay? So that is the short strike what I'm talking about. Now, as for the Wing Chun Queen, there's evolution. So we know that at Red Boat era, in the 1850s, which is in the Fat San King Hua Hui Gun, okay, which is the camp of the anti-Qing, okay, they taught Wing Chun Queen there to the opera player and other people. And also we know today how they taught in the King Hua Hui Gun by evidence. Okay, there's another book on Wing Chun is coming out from Fat San, okay, which is I know the author and the researcher and so forth have informed me. Okay, so even at that time, teaching in the Red Boat King Hua Hui Gun, or the headquarter of the anti-Qing, it is not homogeneous. It is not like today, you open a school and everybody learn the same thing. No. Some of them who learn in the King Hua Hui Gun, by the way, inside the King Hua Hui Gun, there are different arts, including Choi Lei Fat, Hong Seng Choi Lei Fat. Okay? So people who join this anti-Qing in the King Hua Hui Gun, sometimes they even just train by a few weeks or a few days and they send out to the battlefield or the uprising at that time. So it is not, sorry, not homogeneous that everybody learn everything. Okay? So that's the situation. Now, the uprising of this Red Boat opera artist who actually is anti-Qing and who is a good brother or the fighting together with the Choi Lei Fat, Hong Seng Choi Lei Fat, that uprising lost. So the Qing win. So there's a lot of elite of Wing Chun at that time gone, sacrificed in that uprising. Okay, so people flee out. So they took the Wing Chun, disregard of what type of Wing Chun or what level, since the teaching here is non-homogeneous, it spread out, it evolved out. Then it come in the 1870, where the opera is restart again by the Qing. Now this is anti-Qing. This is Qing, different, okay? Over here, people start to teach Wing Chun, okay? So all this evolve, okay? It keep evolve down, okay, and evolve. And then in 1960s, it evolved again, and then now today is 2018, it evolved again. So this is the evolutions of Wing Chun. And of course, every evolution you have one head guy, or leader, or the grandmaster of that evolution. Okay. Now, so this is Wing Chun evolution. Now, I'm talking about short strike. I'm not talking about this thing. On this evolution, whether it is still Wing Chun, the short strike, as in the 1850 or not, is a big question now. Because today we can see there are many evolution which is actually Tai Chi based and all this kind of stuff, okay, or other internal and so forth, whatever. Is that still the short strike? Okay, Wing Chun is a short strike art per 1850. Is it still that technically? That is a good question, and that is not my focus. My focus is what is the short strike Wing Chun in 1850s, because over here you have different people have their different evolutions. Okay, we don't want to say right or wrong or good or bad, and that is not my focus. My focus is what is this? What is this art called Wing Chun, which is a short strike art, where everybody in the 1870s still call it a short strike art. Wing Chun is a short strike Wing Chun art, a short strike variations. So even in the early 1900, it is still Wing Chun is known as variations of short strike art. So my research is to find out what exactly is this short strike art. We cannot take anybody's Joe Wing Chun here or Lee's Wing Chun here or Gore Wing Chun here to say, oh, that represent the short strike Wing Chun. We cannot say that. We need to know this. What is the short strike Wing Chun? Okay, so that's why, as I showed you before, we take the common denominator from the 1560. We know what it is today. Okay, and I'm going to show with you. I'm going to show you today in very details a few things which is right away you know it is a short strike or it is not a short strike. Okay, this is common denominator, but it is a Wing Chun variations of that. Okay, now one thing before I get into that, I like to share with you all is this Buddhism stuff, and like today's in the movie for past 40 years, there's people who have no idea what is Buddhism and making movies and propaganda on Buddhism. Okay, Buddhism is not like, oh, Jisim, Zen, and that's it. No, the teaching of Buddhism or the Buddha Dharma. Okay, so the Buddha Dharma, the teaching of Buddha, the Buddha Dharma, the formal teaching. Okay, like the guy who in Shaolin get trained. Okay, like Bodhidharma and so forth, like until the Patriarch Zen of the Chan Xi in the early 1900s, or until today, the real professional, real Buddhist monk, okay, in China, they all train in Bodhidharma, and this is not those Zen, this mysterious stuff or what you watch in the movie. Bodhidharma in today's term is a science. It is a science, okay? So, the teaching of Bodhidharma, in Chinese, that is based on one thing called Yin Ming Xue. Yin meaning the cause, is the cause. Ming meaning the verification or clarification. Okay? So in today's words, this Yin Ming Xue, the content of it is always, number one, you have to have a subject of debate, of study, or discussions. The second, you have to provide a reason, a theoretical reason, and based on your conceptual reason. Okay, there's a reasoning, okay, or your theory. The third is one need to provide evidence to support this thing. So in Yin Ming Xue, or cause and verification study, okay, which is the base of the Bodhidharma, it consists of three things. One, you need to know what is the subject one study. The second is one need to know the theory of it, the theoretical part of it. The third is one need to present the evidence to verify that theory. And thus, one can have a result in study or debate on the subject. It is no different than today's scientific in engineering and so forth. Okay, you want to design something, you get a theory, and then you design it, you collect data, you test data, and then you verify the entire thing. That is how Bodhidharma is in ancient China. It's Yin Ming Xue. Okay, So there's no such thing as you sit down there, you just meditate without know this thing, and then you say, well, you know, I get enlightenment. Enlightenment or what? Okay? The sutra and sastra is this thing, and it is science. So the older generations of the Buddhists, the Buddhists, the real Buddhist professional practitioners saying that what? Buddha Dharma is a science of life. Okay? So when this short strike and so forth get into the Shaolin temple or associate with Buddhism, this is the basics. Okay? It is not just like the monk in the Hong Kong martial art movie type. They are like just take it like today's scientist or engineer. That's the way how they think. Okay? So this is, we need to know this, okay? This is how they think, how they do things, how they make things works. So when they say investigate or they design or they create a martial arts, you know, like the Shaolin martial and so forth, they go through that, okay? It is not just, oh yeah, you know, I watch a snake and a crane fight, then I get enlightenment. Forget about it. Those are just story, analogy, telling to people who not be able to understand this thing. Okay? So this is the background, the basic. Okay? Now, from this basic, this basic, one need to know a few things. Okay, so the first is Ying Ming. Okay, we just explained that. The second is called Jian Di. Okay, Jian Di. In Sanskrit, Di is Bhumi. In Indonesian, is Bhumi too, meaning your level. So Jian Di, okay, actually is your level of understanding, your level of mastery. Okay? So if one going through this and study or creating or something, they will have their level of mastering or level of understanding. Okay? So this is number one, this is number two, and this is number three. Number three is called Zhen Liang. Zhen Liang is what? Zhen Liang is the level of accomplishment. Okay? So when the Buddhas, the professional, the formal trained, the real patriarch, okay, those top monks, when they have that expertise, they actually, based on this, they have their their level of mastery, which they can see theoretically what is going on, and then they have their accomplishments. Okay? So only like this is the real master. Okay? Or anybody who study in Buddhism and so forth, they go through this. And of course, you know, the level of the mastery is based on what the level of accomplishment and the level of the understanding or mastery in theoretically. Okay, so here is theoretically, okay, your view. So 见地, like your level of view, okay, level of view, the level of view, okay, view. So you see, the first part is like engineering. You have the topic of study. You have the theoretical stuff, and then you have the verifications from the real life experience. And then the person who go through that will have their level of mastery or the view of mastery. And then the second is the view of mastery, and that's still theoretical. And then the third is the accomplishments, the level of accomplishment. They have that, Okay, it's not just like oh, I know I am this Zen Patriarch's teacher. Student. This Patriarch so and so of the Zen is my teacher. No, you go through that. Okay. Now, I give you an example today, so that you can see what do I mean for this 见地 and 正量. Okay. Because this kind of stuff we need to know. We need to know what it is. Otherwise, it's like we're going to get stuck. Today, everybody loves to say about the internal art. Okay? Or 内家. Okay? Now let's get to the core of it. Okay? Disregard of its internal art, Qigong, 内家, or Buddhism, advanced Buddhism, you always have a level of accomplishment, which is the 正量. You need a 正量. Okay, level of accomplishment of what? 心息相依. Okay, meaning the mind and the breathing pairing. 相依 is pairing, meaning like your device, smart device pair with your smartphone, that pairing. So meaning that the mind and the breathing has to pair up. Okay, one need to accomplish that level to enter the first level of internal or meditations or Qigong or whatever. People who never get into here really do not get to the level of expertise or accomplish that level of expertise. Okay, so let's talk about this 心喜相依. Okay, so this is mind, this is breathing, this is pairing. So now, let's look into this, okay? Okay, so look into this. So what is breathing? What breathing we talk about? So the guy who have the level of mastery in terms of theory, okay, meaning that have the view, have the view or the theory of the level mastery. The second thing, the 见地. They know that when they talk about this breathing, it's actually not the inhale, exhale, but the pulse. Say this is inhale, this is exhale, this pulse. This is what they talk about when they talk about this 心喜相依, the first level to get into internal. Okay, so it is the mind which is pairing with this pulse in the breathing, which is get one into the Qigong or internal art, the first step of it. If you want to talk about Qi, if you don't know this, forget about it. Okay, but this is what, up to now, what I'm explaining is just the level of mastery in terms of theory, which is the 见地. Okay, you need to know what the heck is going on. Okay, now, so the level of accomplishment, is actually be able to do this pairing. One is trained so that one be able to pair the mind and the breathing, the mind and the pose, be able to do that. So that's one level of it. If one want to be a sifu, meaning one be able to lead the student into the pairing of the mind and the pose. Okay? So to recap the entire thing, the first step is, if one want to talk about internal, whatever, qigong, everything, one need to know that exists a pairing of the mind and the breathing. And the guy who really have the theory of it, part of it, okay, which is have the 见地 of it, know that this so-called breathing actually is the pose here. Okay, so one reach that 见地, that level of view or level of theoretical understanding. And after that, one have technology which one follow to be able to realize, implement, or accomplish the real pairing of mind and the pose of the breathing. That is the level, belong to the level of accomplishment. And then this level of accomplishment can get higher, deeper. When it gets deeper, that means that person be able to lead other people into the same state. So that is a real sifu, that's a real master. Okay, so it has all those level or steps, process steps there. So when one technology is passing down to the next generations, it is the level of mastery in theory and level of accomplishment which is passed down. Okay? So we often say, oh, this Zen patriarch, one passed to the Zen patriarch 2. So what is passed? It is this, the level of the mastery, the level of mastery of the theory, and the accomplishment is passing down, is transferred. Okay? This is how it is when it transfer technology or passing down or transmit technology. Okay? It is not just, oh, this XYZ is the student of the Zen patriarch, this Zen patriarch A, oh, so that he also have the transmissions or the transfer of technology. No, it's not that. It is one need to have these two components there. So in the past, as you can read in the Zen Gong'an or the history, you can see that, oh, this Zen monk went to the older senior Zen patriarch and then asked him to check. Like for example, you read the Sixth Patriarch Sutra, okay, the Sixth Patriarch Sutra of the Huinan Sutra of the Zen. You can see that people go visited Huinan because they want to know this. They want to have the transfer of the Buddha's mind seal. This is not just like, oh, now you become my student, so you learn everything, so you will. It's not. Okay? So this is important. So don't get this confused with, oh, if this guy is the other guy's student, then he by default know it, or he is if one is the grandmaster student, then by default he know it. No. One always need to see the theoretical mastery and the level of accomplishments. That is the transfer. Okay? Now, so the distortions or confusions today's in the world or in the West is people taking that if certain people is a student or once is a student of a certain monk, then they have the art also. That is not the case. This is the case. So it is like the same thing with the university, right? You go to take you go to university to study. You have to pass examinations. For after 4 years, then you get a Bachelor of Engineering degree, a Bachelor of Science degree. Okay, it is not just like, oh, you know, I once upon a time I know this professor. I have studied a seminar with this professor. Then I can call myself engineer. No, you can't. You have to go through that. Okay. So make sure make that clear. So you split it out. The reason I want to tell you all this of Buddhism and how the ancient people, those people are not morons. They are pretty smart people. Like that's why I say like today's engineers or scientists. Okay, they are well trained, well educated people. Okay, so look at that in those type of point of view. Instead of following the Chinese martial art kung fu movie, like one guy going down there into the temple and get beat up for 1 year and suddenly he's the kung fu master. Forget about it. Okay, that thing that never exists. Those are fantasy. Those are entertainment. Okay, so you know this is important. So after you know this, I want to share with you what is short strike art. Like the other day, I shared with you that the long fist is you always keep a distance. The short strike is you go close. Well, really close, sticky close. But people sometimes say, well, you know, I know that too. This is the close range fighting. Well, you know, you need to define that. So today I want to define for you and I show you what it is. The first thing of the short strike art, you need to look at the zone and the momentum. A short strike art, the fighting zone, you see this is how close it is. Okay, so if this is the center line or the center axis of the opponent, okay, which is this heavy bag is represent the opponent, that's how close that two center line is there. Okay, so that's the first thing is zone. Compare with this thing where you see the center line is this far away of the opponent and one center line this far away. Okay, so this is not a short strike art. The second thing is that you see the momentum of the shoot in. Okay, shoot in, or in Cantonese we said mai san. Okay, the momentum is just dash in. Okay, and you see that the weight is at front, and you see the components, the opponent's the center line right away tilted because the entire momentum is pushed in. So it is very different than if you stand like that and your center of gravity is behind there and only the fist is touching the or striking the opponent. Okay, so that is short strike. This is not short strike. Okay, this is more long fist type of art. So there's the zone and the momentum. So you see that. Okay, now, so the short strike always fight in the zone. Now, the second thing is the short strike, the force, the force here. Okay, the force handling. Short strike is not handled like with the left rear leg. You have the jing going back and forth. No, short strike don't do that. Short strike is from the front leg. It have an action reaction force and it has four area of attack in the same time because you got to stick the body. You see that the knee here, the hip here, the elbow here, and the shoulder is coming. So there are four forceful line or four attack right away when you get close. It is not like just you attack with the fist. It's the entire thing go. Okay? That's why it go this close, because it is going to go entire thing go. It give no chance, and you don't want to have other openings. Okay? So that is the, and in this case, this is named as big or pressure. Okay, it pressure the heck out of the opponent. Okay, when it get in, right away you want to tilt the center axis of the opponent, and right away in the same time, attack can come from this four attack weapons, and it can be 2 or 4. Usually it go 2. 1 from the lower part, 1 from the top part. That's how you capture the entire thing in this zone. Okay, it's not like this that you're just striking. Okay, and this is far away, because short strike you want to take down the center axis of the opponent right away. Okay, and then for the counter attack efficiency, if you see this, you see that this is half of the body is attacking with this four attack point, and the other part of the body, like this leg is ready for sweep or for kicks. It's going to move in. Okay, it's going to move in for sweep and for kicks. This hand, you see that this hand is actually the vertical fist waiting for that. Once it get the opponent's center axis tilted like this, it's going to thrust in right away. The sun punch or sun fist or vertical fist is going to go right away, land in. Okay, so it's like machine gun, and it's continually left and right, boom, 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 boom. Okay, it's not like this. You stand there with not very effective using of the counter attack. Okay, now also over here you see the momentum, it goes straight in, and then there's a torque. When it go inside there, it is trapped or blocked, then it right away it torquing. Okay, those are using angular momentum. And as well as if you see this, which is not a short strike art, the part of momentum go this way and he's leaning back, and then there's another part of momentum is going that way. So he's practically standing there and punching. This guy for the short strike is not. It just practically go in. So it's like what? It's like a B-2 steel bomber. It just go in and it just shoot the heck out or bomb the heck out everything. It's really high speed. Okay. So that is the short strike art, the basic of the short strike art. Wing Chun is like that. Per 1850, it is a short strike art basic. Okay, and this three things I show you in terms of zone, momentum, force handling, and counter attack. Those are a common denominator of any short strike art. Okay, that's the uniqueness. And in terms of the so-called 一击 Kam Yong Ma, okay, it is actually, you see this way, the knee is protecting the groin, but it's one side, it's not two sides like that. And you can see that the feet, the angle, the direction of the feet, the knee, and the hip is going one side, it's not square like that. Okay, so that is when one shoot in, one my son get in, okay, or Sek Wai eating his position. This is Sek Wai. One side is actually protecting one groin, or while the other leg is pushing and the other leg is ready for attack at any time, and the other arm is ready for that. So it is very high density type of stuff. When you get into that that range, It is keeping machine gun and not just the arm machine gun. It's the entire body is machine gunning there. Okay. So that is the Wing Chun short strike. Okay, I didn't make it up. This is what it is. You can go check, as what I say, you know, up to the 1560s and above, and you look at the common denominator. That's what it is. Okay. Now, if you look at a recent, like in the March or so, when in the China, when the MMA player or the boxer player claim that Wing Chun is no good and do not have power and so forth. Well, look at this. These people are not actually short strike fighter. See this? Look at this. Okay. Look at the distance. Look at the distance. Okay, look at the distance. Same thing. Okay. Same thing. Same thing. So, if it is a short strike fighter, it's going to jam right away there. It's not going to stand there, okay, because it's going to attack with the entire body, okay? So it is a go inside there, straight or rotate, okay? And all this attack is going to come in, and all this counter attack and all this is going to come in, okay? Now, it will never be like that. It will never be like that. This is in the long range fighting. Okay? That's why when this thing come out, and when the guy who have the single arm talking about Wing Chun this guy talking about Wing Chun in the what do you call it, in the videos broadcast in China and so forth, I told them this is not Wing Chun they are fighting. If he's fighting a real Wing Chun guy, guess what? This guy is going to come in, he's going to smash his knee, while the elbow link, the shoulder is going to come in. This hand, if you have only one hand, how many seconds do you think you can last facing this type of attack? Facing this kind of attack, how many seconds do you think you can last? So that's why I say, well, you know, you guys doesn't know what the heck is Wing Chun, so better don't say anything about it. Okay? So again, when I'm saying Wing Chun, I'm not saying my lineage or me. Well, this is what it is. Per common denominator, the basic of Wing Chun. Okay? It is a short strike. But if we do not develop this thing, then it is not a short strike. Well, it can be anybody, somebody's Wing Chun here and that. Okay, everybody can create their own whatever and using the name Wing Chun, which is not my issue. Everybody free to do that. But when one talk about the technical, then one need to know what it is, right? It's like the people who play BJJ. They need to know what BJJ is. They cannot just say, wow, this is BJJ. Same with Western boxing, right? You need to have a uniqueness, and this is the uniqueness of short strike. Okay? So that's why in this, I show you what it is, okay? The 4-zone, the code from the 1560, 1784, and all those stuff. Because it is what it is. If we don't really clear with this technical issue, what are we doing? Okay, so again, I don't want this to do with any lineage or anything, but what I'm saying is that technically, what are we doing? So this is to share with you today. Okay, again, this all about strictly technical technology. Anybody can go dig into the history, the data, and so forth to look at it. Okay, and got nothing to do with this grandmaster, get grandmaster, this is the greatest grandmaster, this is the gatekeeper, lineage and everything, nothing to do. So I hope that I make it clear this time, and I once for all, I leave this with you guys.